Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about this Hurricane Sandy disaster and prepping, and also the shapes you need to make for construction, building construction. I'll get into that in a second. It's all going to be from armchair, but I do it too, so I'm trying to put these ideas out. My ideas are not really my ideas. They've been proven ideas. It's common sense. But 99 point something percent of the people don't do it. That's the problem. But I'm going to put out some interesting things. Now, another reason I'm going to put this out is because I'm not too familiar with all this planetary alignment stuff. There's supposed to be like Venus, Saturn, and Mercury lining up, and that means there'll be another earthquake in December or something. And I kind of casually read stuff, and because I don't really, well, I look at it like this. There's sure as hell nothing I could do about planets lining up, and a lot of times there have been false calls too. Nothing happened, right? I know a lot of times when they talk about the supermoon, you know, that when, like, in other words, the moon is extraordinarily close to the Earth. It pulls the tides. It also pulls the molten lava inside the Earth that can maybe put pressure on points and the plates that move under the Earth and cause a earthquake under the ocean that causes a tsunami. I mean, that actually happened in Japan, or maybe it was the government doing it. I don't know, but it was interesting that it happened during, I think it's called the lunar perigee. It's like a supermoon. I might have said that word wrong, but I forgot what it was exactly. But there's going to be other ones coming up in early 2013. And, you know, maybe this is the stuff that Cliff High, he might be right. Partly. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to panic anybody, but this is my deal. You know, the people in New Jersey that did not prepare, I don't know what the hell to say. They're sure mad right now, and they're talking to Chuck Schumer, you know, the politician. I don't like that guy. But maybe he does give a shit somewhat, but I don't like him. He's too communistic. I don't want to call him liberal. But you know, they're trying to do as much as they can, but, you know, my point is you need to prepare beforehand. And, you know, people, I noticed, they want to live this life where everything's all la-di-da, and, you know, they don't want this around, they don't want that around, what do you got this shit for? And usually it's the wife. Not all the time, but a lot of them are like that. And, you know, get rid of that shit. So I'm going to tell any male out there, you know, if you're out there protecting your family, do what you got to do and don't listen. That might be a pain, but that's the only thing you can do, because it's like this. You know, people weren't even listening right up to the last week before the Hurricane Sandy warnings happened. You know, and actually I didn't think this was going to be a big deal. I thought they were exaggerating it, but lo and behold, it did happen just like they said. And the devastation was there. In a lot of cases, when you're looking at these houses and they threw all this furniture out here and stuff, it's because it got wet, because these big bay windows blew in, you know, and they got destroyed by the wind. You know, everything got wet inside. It wasn't even just because the water was up a few feet. It was because these gigantic bay windows blew in, and it could have been boarded up. And I guarantee you a lot of people didn't board up a lot of stuff. Some did, some didn't. Now I'm going to bring out one simple thing. Lighthouse. Notice the shape. It's round. This lighthouse is sitting right out there in the middle of the water. Does it blow over? Does the waves clobber it? No. Why is that? Because it's round. You know, people don't make round structures because they cost more per square foot. But really, they don't cost more per square foot if they don't blow over and you made a rectangular one and the damn thing blew over. Also notice on the side of the wall here, it's shaped like a curve. So it doesn't hit it like the full brunt. Some of the force, when it hits it from the side, going in from the side, will go upward, right? Real simple, right? I mean, you don't really need to be an engineer. You could have to understand like real simple stuff. But damn it, they don't build structures like this. If they built houses that were round or octagonal, which is close enough to round, with slightly sloping walls, most of that, even if they were made out of wood, most of that stuff would have held up a hell of a lot better, a lot of times. Now I know there's problems with the foundation, but extra concrete can do the job. Now, pyramids, another thing. But when you have slope walls, not only round walls, it works on the same principle like when you had the T-34 tank was introduced to the Germans in World War II. And, the Russians had a T-34 tank. Kind of a simple idea, but, nobody thought of it. The tanks before were like flat horizontal armor, and a T-34 tank had sloped armor. So when a projectile hit it, it bounced off and went upward because it deflected. That's the same way things work with the wind and the waves. It has to be hit it on an angle. I mean, it's the same principle, everything. How does a car cut through the wind when it's going down the highway? I mean, you don't make a brick, do you? I mean, you don't drive a brick like a house would be, like a rectangle, right? I mean, your fuel mileage would go from 30 to 15 with the same car, and there'd be a lot more stress on it. So, on the components inside, pushing the car forward. Same deal. Why did they not do this? I don't know. I sure as hell would be doing it. But these are types of things that could be done, and nobody does it. So, it's something else I want to suggest, because if anybody decides to make any kind of hurricane shelters, or a special strong room or a special strong shed that they can get in if they have an emergency and ride out a storm because they're afraid of what might happen to their house, that's how it should be made. It should not be made in a rectangle. It should be made like round or like an 8-sided structure. And it should have sloped walls. So when the wind hits it, nothing happens to it. But most people they're their own and worst enemies. They will not prepare ahead of time. I don't know what the hell to say to them, man, but it's bad news, because if you're the one that prepared ahead of time and you tell everybody you're a prepper, these jerks will be the first ones coming at you. That's what's bad about this whole deal. It's like you want to help them, but if they're not freaking doing anything to help themselves, I mean, really, that's unfair to the people that are prepping too. Very unfair. So I'd advise people who prep, I mean, tell people, it's a smart idea, but don't tell them too much, because it's like you could take the horse to the water, but if the damn horse doesn't want to drink, I mean, really, what can you do about it? When the water runs out, or whatever the hell it is, or, there's an emergency, those same people might be your worst enemies, so you don't want to tell them too much of what you do, because they're going to demand what you did, and that'll leave you SOL. So, I mean, really, but it's like you should inform people, but you don't have to inform them too much. But just want to leave you with this thought that not only is it the amount of dollars you spend on construction, it's actually the shape of the construction that makes the difference in the world. The lighthouse, the round lighthouse with the sloped walls, and the fact that it's round, this thing can handle anything. Plus, it's made out of reinforced concrete. It can handle anything. If a 200-mile-an-hour wind came up here, it probably could handle it. It's very, very strong. If they use these types of shapes in regular residential houses, I mean, it doesn't have to be a lighthouse like this, real tall, but if it was basically more round, if the walls were more sloped on a regular house, there wouldn't be any damage. It just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. So why didn't they do that? I don't really get it, to tell you the truth. I mean, the best engineers in the world just don't do that. A pyramid actually would work very well too. A pyramid will never fall apart. That's another deal. So why did they not make these structures? Well, actually, the problem, I guess, is this cost per square foot. It costs you more money to build it per square foot. But the thing is, it's not going to fall apart. So what the hell do you want? Do you want longevity that's going to last for 1,000 years, or do you want something that's going to blow over in the first big wind? But I don't really see the cost as that high, because once you make this and you make the proper shape is everything in the world against wind and water. Shape that deflects the wind. You don't want to just like have a sail out there like a wall, a flat wall that catches all the wind and it carries the brunt of the force. It works with anything. It works with armor. It works with buildings. It works with vehicles that are driving on a highway. It works with speedboats. It's the same principle. So I don't know why people are missing it that are in the construction industry, but they sure do. But I just want to pass on this simple tip or tips to people that are building maybe something that could be a place that they can go into in event of a severe emergency. Build it round. Don't just build it rectangular. Build it like a pyramid, and also use slope walls.